Okay, hi everyone. This is a presentation on how to use Tarsia. Now, Tarsia is an excellent resource if you ask me. It's something which is really useful if you want to get kids to do a simple matching activity, probably in groups or in pairs. That's the natural way to do it, especially if you want to come up with a lovely poster at the end which you can put up on the wall of your classroom. The kids really enjoyed using it, and it certainly beats working from the textbook, which is often something that maths teachers are criticised for. So anyway, let's just quickly walk you through how you download, install Tarsia and then use Tarsia. It's actually really quite straightforward, I'm very happy to say. Okay, now this link should be in, I've got no doubt you found this link from the session planning form. It's on there anyway, and this will take you straight to this page where you can download Tarsia. If you just click that button there, click it, it will then allow you to download Tarsia. Mine's just coming up here. It will say something like that. I'd like to make it clear I'm using a different operating system at the moment, so this will look slightly different to yours because I expect that you'll be using Windows. But yeah, at that point, obviously save the file. You'll see it pop up in the corner of your browser up there. Once it's completely downloaded, click on it and click and work through the install process. I'm sure that should be quite kind of straightforward for you. Most young people nowadays, or most people nowadays should I say, are very comfortable with downloading and installing things from the internet. Now once it's installed, navigate to it. It'll probably give you a chance to open it straight away anyway, but I often save it on my desktop side. I have no trouble finding it. I'm just going to quickly open it here. Okay, once you've installed it, you can click open to it and it'll open up like this. Just close the tips, they're not too handy really, not for the moment anyway. Now if you just want to get started on Tarsia, well, Tarsia is a way of just literally coming up with lots and lots of little questions, equations which are equivalent to expressions, should I say, which are equivalent to other expressions, just testing the students' knowledge on that. So something like quadratic equations really lends itself to Tarsia. Now let's say, for example, and I'm allowed to choose any of these, it's completely up to you what kind of shape you want them to make in the end. I'm going to pick the hexagonal puzzle, and this is the screen you'll be presented with. Now the important parts of this screen really are, you'll probably start on standard like that, and you won't want to be on standard, you'll want to move on to presentation. But the relevant parts of this screen really are the numbers down the side here, and the arguments down here, which is input, table, output, solution and backside. I'm going to run through all of those in a moment, but let's just take a question which you might want to test your students on. Let's say you want to see how good they are at factorising quadratics. Well, let's pick a quadratic equation, something like x squared. Now, to do x squared, you'll need to go up, you'll need to make sure the presentation tab is clicked, and then you'll need to find along here the expression which is showing you indices. Yeah, it's a subscript and superscript template. Click on it and it will give you options. This is the one we want. If I click on that there, then I should be able to do x and then move up there and then squared. Done. I've now got x squared. Ever so simple really. Now let's say I wanted them to factorise x squared plus 7x plus 6. I'll just type it in like that and press enter. Once I've done that, I can then, and you should always use the bottom screen for answers really, top screen for questions, bottom screen for answers. You could do it back to front, but that seems more natural to me. So in the bottom here, I'm going to write the solution to that. Now naturally that factorises to, I'm sure you know, x plus 1 and x plus 6 in brackets. And there we go. Now we've actually there just done our first question for Tarsia. If I click on the solution now, it'll have a whole hexagon here, and on one of the pieces of the hexagon, on one of the equilateral triangles within the hexagon, you'll see my question of x squared plus 7x plus 6 is matched up with x plus 1, x plus 6 there. And that's nice. The output though, what the students will actually see when you first give them the sheet, well that looks like this. It will be 3 pages worth if you use a hexagon. A hexagon uses quite a few things. And you'll notice that the question and the answer aren't matched up together, because that's what the student's job is, to match these things up. You see, what will happen, once I put in a few more inputs, let's say I go now, if I want to do the next question, I'll just click on the 2 over here, that will take me to the next page. Okay, once again, I'm just going to put in another quadratic, so I'm going to use that. The very first entry, and it's fine. X squared let's say plus 9x plus 20. And then let's have the answer, x plus 4, x plus 5. Oh, x plus 4, close bracket, x plus 5. Sorry, my highlighter's actually getting in the way. I thought it'd be great to have this highlighter and it's not really working out for me. And once again, okay, so now if I click on the output now, you'll notice that gradually the output's being filled up and up and up and up and up. And yeah, that's really all there is to Tarsia. Once it's done, you will have literally the entire solution will be all covered with matching expressions, and the output will obviously not be matched up because that's what you're going to actually print out. You're going to print out the questions for them. They will then obviously cut this out and work in pairs perhaps to join up the questions with the solutions. It's a lovely little activity, especially if you're having some kind of a poster lesson or something like that. One of my big gripes about poster lessons is if they're not actually doing any mathematics but just sort of going over a few ideas. This is why I quite like this for a poster lesson, because they actually do some mathematics. They actually factorise a hell of a lot of quadratics. They can put it on a blank bit of sugar paper and it can go up on the wall. It will look very neat because it's been printed out. It's a lovely way to do things. So yeah, that concludes this little video on how to use Tarsia. I really think it's ever so straightforward once you've got the hang of it. You'll notice on these tabs on the bottom it gives us, you know, it in tabulated form. It gives us it as the input. You just have to work all the way down with 24 equations. I think it's 24 for the hexagonal one. Let's actually have a look at the solution. Yeah, I think we're going to have ooh, that's actually quite difficult to work out, isn't it? I think it's said it initially if we press file and new again. Yeah, 24 pieces to the hexagonal jigsaw puzzle, 16 pieces to the triangle, 18 pieces to the rhombus. So there's lots of different opportunities. I like not to tell them what kind of shape they're going to end up with. That way it kind of keeps them guessing. Most of the time they use equilateral triangles, but you'll notice there's just a rectangular one. There's even dominoes, which is quite nice because that leads them snaking around all the way to the answer. Now, one of the reasons why I did want to show you this is because you will notice if you end up going onto websites like the TES or Mr. Barton Maths, for example, two excellent websites, by the way, to look for resources, you will find lots of Tarsia resources which you cannot open until you have this software on your computer. So it's a good idea to get this downloaded and installed on your computer, even if you never actually make up your own questions. But I think you probably will now make up your own questions because it's so easy to use and so quick to develop a brand new resource. Most teachers that I've met throughout my career like to develop their own resources. The reason for that obviously is you have complete control then over what questions that they are doing. You know, you'll often find if you use a textbook or if you use someone else's resource, they didn't do it quite in the way you would have done it. So yeah, I hope this gives you a little bit more freedom to develop your own resources. Okay, that's about it for now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the